Um,
Sincerely sorry. I completely forgot the appointment for the next class. I was at Jalisco and I had to move
oh
my
yeah, I saw
my
your
fly.
text.
My fly.
Oh well,
But
guess what? It was raining over here. We had a
yeah,
hurricane over here
yeah.
when you
I
were
saw
gone.
many videos about the rain.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
crazy.
huge. But there's only one or two drops that falls from the sky, and everything is a mess here.
Yeah, actually, that's right. That's how it was. It was
Yeah,
only a little bit, and everybody was going crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was my fault because I completely forgot. I completely forgot until now. You know, until
Ah, today
15
is
minutes.
Thursday. You're right.
Yeah,
Today
and
is
it was like,
Thursday.
hey, my glass, and it was what the fuck I forget.
You're like, what am I doing tonight?
Yeah, because I was going to run and I was no, I have
I
my
think I
class.
have
And
other
what
plans.
about the Tuesday? I forgot it because I was with my dad. My dad is not very good.
Ah, he's
Yeah,
over there in Jalisco.
yeah. So I had to move the flight because we had two appointments, one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday.
Ah, doctor appointments.
Doctor appointments.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing with my dad. I
Yeah,
had to go visit him for doctor's appointments too.
yeah.
So today I got a new book. Um,
Oh yeah, what?
well, this is the book that you already know.
Mm-hmm.
The topics covered in this book. This is the book that we've been working with.
Mm-hmm.
So far, you you saw a little bit of the human resource environment.
Yes. By the way, I couldn't watch the video that we record, but it was
Oh,
okay.
oh, okay. Um,
I was now for advanced sessions, I
in
think.
that class, we saw managing human resources.
Resources, yes.
Managing human resources. Um, in the rest of the book, we have in the first section, it's all about the environment.
Yes.
Very general things. Very
Yeah.
general. Um, they close the first part of the book with analyzing work and designing jobs, which kind of goes into the outside of human resources. After you analyzed the work and designed the
Yes.
jobs, you kind of finished with this stage.
Yes.
So in the second part of the book, we're going to see things like acquiring and training
Well,
and developing.
what does it mean? Acquiring?
Acquiring.
Acquiring?
Acquiring is recruiting.
Recruiting.
Means like going to get it. Go get it. Getting it. It means
Okay.
getting it.
Acquiring.
Maybe that's not a good example because get translates into a lot of things. Acquiring means like finding,
Yeah.
you can say too, a little bit. Finding. There's some companies that do the acquiring because it's such a big job. Some companies do acquiring for other companies. If you don't have a recruiting department in your company, in your human resources, if you don't have recruiting, then you probably hire a different company
Yes.
to do the acquiring. So, analyzing and designing jobs is connected with the acquiring, with the planning and recruiting. Next, it's the important job of selecting all the people that we're acquiring. Acquiring could mean also selecting the final process of the recruitment, acquiring,
Or the
or
final
sign.
is
Oh,
the contract. The contract.
signing the contract. Hiring. Um, other people say hiring, but
Hiring.
I don't know if you know that one,
Yeah.
which is also kind of weird. Hiring. I remember when I was little, I didn't know what that was because they used to put it on all the restaurants.
Yeah. We're hiring.
And I asked my dad, "What is that?" Because it's kind of a different word. Uh, when you finish the recruiting, you finish with the employees placing them in jobs. You say, "Hey, you're gonna do this job." Sometimes before they start, a lot of companies train them.
Yes.
Have you ever received training in any jobs?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, me too. This thing isn't making sense. I love the training because you get paid, and it's like going to school.
Yeah.
The best trainings, it's like going to school, and you take tests and study, and you're not working really. It's like going to school, and they pay you.
We did something else. Is the onboarding.
That's right. That's what I had to do for my last job, and it was kind of a joke. It was nothing. They were like, "Oh, they gave me like different papers with the different departments on them, and they said, 'Here you go. Go visit all the departments.'" I'm like, "Okay," and I went to visit all the different departments in the company.
Yeah.
And I introduced myself, and then I said, "Hey."
The environment of the company. But we call it to the process that we require so you can start working related or related with all the things you need. You need a cell phone, you need a name tag, you need a parking pass, you need how do you need an email account, you need permissions to access
Correct.
for some files in the computer. You need
The access.
many things, and it's related with your position.
Correct.
Onboarding is not the same with different positions and we need, for example, many people that work in the company. You don't need to communicate that you have this new person at the company, but some others it's an important part, so everybody knows that this new guy is in charge of this the new responsibilities.
That's right.
Yeah, but for us, it's the onboarding part. It's the process of after the contract, you need to bring or give all the facilities or all the,
That's right.
the requirements so that this guy or the new hire can work.
Like the first day.
Like the first day, maybe it's not the first day, maybe it's
like the first day of working. Of your new job, new position.
Some of the companies they plan this before this guy start working.
Yes, it's always from the recruitment to this thing,
Yes.
Right? To the training part. Good.
Then training and everything.
So after they start to get to know their new position and they start working, sometimes they go to more trainings like conferences or different skills that get introduced or new equipment that they need to train, new equipment or something. That's called developing.
Yeah.
And for the future, It could be that you have an employee that's going to be a supervisor, or they're gonna learn new things for the future. After you did a good job with that in the company, they introduced the third section, which is all the people that we train and we're developing and they're working. We want to be able to assess them so we can improve performance in the company.
Yeah.
So
now they are working.
Kind of like to make sure we did everything correctly in the second stage. So it kind of feels like they have a structure here that is in a sequence or order of like the cycle of the employees. The employees start getting assessments and evaluations to check out their performance, to see if we can do better. So, because all the companies, I guess the purpose of the companies of any business, they want to be high performance.
Yes.
They want to make the most money possible, I guess. So we need to make sure everybody's doing their job correctly and opportunities for improvement. So that means we have to check out their performance and we have to manage the employees' performance. What do you think that means? Managing the employees' performance. Any ideas?
To assess the performance, to
That's
make
like part
changes,
of it, right? Yeah, that's right.
to encourage people.
Yeah, I guess it's like this part, right? So we can do this part.
Yeah.
That's why they call it managing.
Yeah.
And
they're
then
giving incentives, promotional. Yeah, maybe you're getting better. You're going to
and what happens
learn
sometimes
more.
is that we have to separate the company from the employees, or maybe we keep them.
Retain.
Maybe they want to exit and go to a better company, but maybe we want to keep them, retaining, or separating.
Kicking out of the company.
Your favorite
oh,
task.
there's a movie.
And then 11 is your lucky number.
Hey, have you watched this movie with George Clooney?
He has a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Ocean 11?
Eh?
11? Ocean 11?
No.
He has a movie called Ocean 11.
He's like me, but not that handsome. Nah.
That guy.
In this movie,
Mr. Clooney. What's the movie called?
In Spanish, it's Amor sin escalas. I don't know how to. It has to be completely different. You know, they changed the names of the movies and they're completely different.
And he works in human resources?
He works in a company that is dedicated only to fire people.
There
and
you
it's
go.
Like me, but in the way that I have to live.
Perfect.
No. Many. I was with my dad and my mom, and I was like, I do this in my job.
You told her,
like,
that's
okay.
me.
So my dad he was like, hey, we're watching the TV.
Shut up.
Like, yes. And I was
That's
like,
funny.
it's like me, but it's
I
handsome, not the same as me.
Yeah. I love it when that happens in the movies, right? It's like, it's like real life.
Yeah, you should watch that movie because it's really interesting. It's like,
Actually, George Clooney's a really good actor.
Yeah, it's
so
good.
I think I'm gonna have to check it out because
Of course, it's not.
he's like a really good actor.
Yeah, it's not his best movie.
But he's good.
He's
at
good,
acting, right?
and the movie is good, and it's related.
I remember he used to be really famous.
Yeah, it's really famous.
Well, I guess he's still famous.
He's still.
He's one of the big dogs.
Yeah.
One of the Hollywood big dogs. That's funny that you found it and they were firing people.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I haven't watched a movie related with the things that I do. You know.
That you were surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised.
So the opposite of firing people is retaining. It's the opposite.
Try to convince them to stay. We call it in the organization here in Cabo they call this part of the negotiation with an employee when they want to leave and you don't want them to leave. It's like los van a piciar.
Yeah, how that's actually I learned this word in with the English classes.
Yeah.
Because when I talk to companies about English classes, I talk about retaining employees, and when you give them English classes, for example, they stay longer.
Yes.
They stay longer
because they feel that
they're getting
their abilities and it's important for them.
And everybody wants it.
Yeah, but in this case, it's like the negotiation when the lady wants to leave. It's like, hey, I'm gonna offer you more money. How much do you want? What do you need?
Negotiating.
High heels.
Yeah, of course.
Good dinner.
Speaking of that, you need to have a good pay structure.
Yes.
And a lot of the things that you were telling me, how you negotiate with them is recognizing employee contributions with money.
It's not everything related, but what I think about it. Yeah, no. We're not looking only for money. Many people they do, but lots of people they don't want money. They don't want money. No.
The benefits?
I know many people that I've related with companies for many reasons.
Oh yeah, did I tell you about the new benefit for the breastfeeding? So the moms can go and get they have a nice room and with a fridge, and they can get the milk and put it in the fridge, and they get paid for it. That's like during the day. It's during the day they're getting paid. And I remember my mom used to sit there for like an hour or something. So they go for like an hour or more. I don't know. I think it's 2. They have like 2 free hours to go make milk. That's like a really good benefit. And you know what I wanted to ask? And what is like a benefit kind of like that is the same but for men, for the guys. But I didn't want to sound too controversial. But because I'm a man, see, it wouldn't work. If I ask in the meeting, I would get like the wrong attention. But if a girl asks that question, I could probably get a girl to say, hey, why don't you ask this question?
No, now we have they released this benefit this year. This is a federal benefit, but it's called the paternity leave for 5 days.
In Mexico they have that. I think it's 11 days. The legal one.
It's new.
Yeah, I think it's 11 days that you get. Yeah, that's interesting. I heard about that like last year, I think. So in the book, they talk about retaining the employees, and then they go straight into the benefits and the salaries and the pay structures and the contribution, how depends on the employee, depends on the pay, I guess, Different employees make different money in the companies. That's why it means contribution, recognizing the contribution with pay. Also like incentives and things like that. And the benefits. And finally, the one that you were talking about. Bargaining and the labor relations. Bargaining is negotiating with money.
Yeah.
Negotiating. A lot of the Mexican people like to do bargaining in the flea market or in the supermarket. Not the supermarket, but in the street market.
Cuando me lo dejan.
But in Cabo, there's no bargaining culture.
No?
No. Even if you go to the flea market, they go, no, I'm not negotiating. They don't want to do bargaining here in Cabo because I guess people have
Bargaining.
better pay structures.
Collective bargaining. It's related with unions.
Collective, correct.
Yeah.
The syndicates and the unions. They always negotiate with the human resources.
Yeah, it's part of the job.
And then when we saw all the chapters, they go into a global context. Globally, and they also talk a lot about culture. So what's the most interesting topic that you see in this book that we're exploring?
Well, from this weekend, and considering that your student is
from the movie
interested in separating people, I think separating people is nice.
Oh, that's good. That's right.
It's not only because of your student, but he's really handsome, so I need to.
So you need to train.
Yes, I need to be like him because you know what, he goes to one part of the country to the other. Sometimes he goes to he's always traveling in the United States.
Yeah. He's as expert.
He's an expert, and I think that I can do better than him. Yeah, he was like, hey man, you're
Wait,
so
but how old was he in the movie?
Huh?
How old was he in the movie?
He was like my age, like 40, but he's like Canoso. How to say Canoso?
Yeah, he has gray hair.
Yes.
He's like famous for that.
Yes, he's famous because since his 20s, I think he painted his hair to look more attractive.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I think he was like 40, and he was like, we are in the same age, why I am not going to one part or the other? But I think like, I'm gonna make a company to fire people.
Yeah, now that you got the instructions on how to do it, right?
And I can look like your student as well. So.
There you go. Excellent. So here's the other book.
Transformational HR.
Transformational HR. How human resources can create value and impact business strategy. I thought about this book because what we talked about in the human resources management, how it's very, very difficult to explain to the owners how human resources creates value and how they impact
it's a matter of money.
The business, you know? How HR turns into money, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a different way of saying
How can you explain that is important?
So there's a whole book about it.
Yeah.
There's a whole book about it. So let's look at the content in this book. How human resources can create value and impact business strategy. And this one is actually a little more, well, I was going to say more technical, but nah. It's kind of the same. Well, the other one is a little more technical, but this one explains a lot of things. Okay, so let's take a look at the context. Part 1. It says here, ever-changing world. The ever-changing world. In this part, they talked about oh, they talk about political correctness and socio-political changes. They talk about technology. It's kind of like how work is changing and companies are changing, and where it's going, how it was before, where we are now, and how it's changing. And it goes straight into today, how we are doing things today. A little bit of like the history, and you know how things started changing when they started making like factories and steel. Remember that, like in history class, and the train.
Yeah.
The train came, so the steel was needed for the tracks, and that made things better for import and export, and it kind of changed a lot of things. So it kind of talks about that to introduce the topic. So once they talk about that background information, you know, that kind of like everybody sees, like in the, I guess that's like history class, right? Where we see all those things.
It's the context of the problem.
It's like the system that we built, right? That we have now.
The system that we have.
So they go straight into your job, how human resources is like a career, and the reputation, I think, you know, that human resources has in the system that we use, like the reputation, how we talked about, well, what we talked about in the beginning today, and how we talked about in the other book, how, oh, what did we say? They thought it was only paperwork, or what did we say? Something like that, right? So it's not only the paperwork and the technical part, like the labor laws, and oh, we're gonna sue you, or why do you fire me, and things like that, like kind of like technical. That's what I think about, or people think about, you know, when it's like human resources. That's where you get fired, or if you're in trouble, they send you there, or if you gotta do some paperwork.
Yeah, in Mexico it's like contrata, paga y corre.
Ah, there you go. See, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they kind of talk about that, and they go straight into how human resources is more than that. And they go right into how the important topics of this book, how it impacts, and how it has to do with money, actually, and it's like super important.
But in the previous one, there are many interesting topics.
Oh, which one?
For example, the multidisciplinary nature of the HR, for example. They think that there's going to be an accountant, for example, in many Mexican companies, it has to be an accountant. Okay. No, you can
it's
have...
the Mexican system.
Yeah, it's the Mexican system. Organizational disabilities, that is important too. You need to be focused on that as well. The one priority to rule them all. Wow. In the down of the new stage organizations. Yeah,
This is what we are kind of seeing in the other book.
Yeah.
It kind of starts here. And this is where kind of the other book starts. They talk about exactly their responsibilities and their activities that we saw in the first chapter. And straight into the topic of this book, which they can say it's like how it's connected with the
strategy.
Productivity.
Yeah.
I guess you can say,
numbers,
right? The
figures.
Production.
Yeah.
because all businesses, all companies, they're for business strategy, so and value, they want to create value. If not, then what's the point? What's the point of the business? So they introduce, like I said, the topic of this book, transformational HR. It's kind of like a way of them saying the new HR, or
Yeah.
or I guess we're gonna let everybody know that HR is important, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna open their eyes. We're gonna open their eyes, kind of thing. Or I don't know. Would you say it's getting more important than it used to be? Because of what? Because of like political correctness.
You know what? I think that you can transform a company from a simple. When you are doing your work well, even if you are just mopping the floor, you can make it better, you know? And I mean, if you are, for example, managing the financial resources, you can make it big from financial resources.
Yeah, like
Only
I said, you take care of the budget. Yeah.
Take care of the budget. If
And
you're
a different
good at
person.
it,
That's why they
you
fire
make a
sometimes some
big
people.
difference.
Yeah.
And I think if you're managing the human resources and you are doing well, you're making a big change in the company.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it's better if you are making transformation in all the departments.
So like we said in the beginning, it's like difficult to explain that to, you know, the people that are not like in the getting their hands dirty in the human resource department. So they talk about like they call it the sciences, like the proof that supports, you know, the evidence, and that's gonna help, you know, have more of a clear, maybe support, evidence, proof, and also when you explain things, which is kind of like what we're looking at in the other book. It's like we're breaking it down to see exactly how it creates value in the other book, and they kind of explain it a little bit differently, but we're gonna see exactly how they create the value, looking at their practices and their responsibilities. Right here, we're gonna see some systems or strategies or technologies, some people call them.
Yeah.
Or some models.
Models.
Or a way to do things, some instructions, approaches, attacks, I guess you can say, to understand it even better.
5 forces, I haven't heard about 5 forces.
Oh, Michael Porter's?
No, I haven't heard about him.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
I haven't.
You don't know Michael Porter? Oh. He's what do you call him?
Broker?
They call him like financial guys, or a banker, but like a banker. They call them bankers or financial, because they, what do they call them now? Like they're gonna be a name now. What's that TikTok? It's like 6 foot. No, they just say finance. They still say finance. They just say finance. He's a finance guy from a finance company. This guy has some innovation or new approaches, like you said. They talk about it in the book as one of the sciences. One of the sciences that we have here. Michael Porter. I think it was before. What year was that? What year? It was a year when the market crashed.
The market crash. I think we're passing through a market crash. Do you think so?
Well, the last one. Oh yeah, like it's about to start. They're saying
They're saying.
I don't think so, because Trump is coming back, but he's gonna like stop that. But The last one was in 2008, but before that one, the famous one, I was a baby, or I think I wasn't born. I think it was. Remember when Mexico changed the money?
Yeah,
When was that?
it was in 1994. 1994.
So I think it was like same time.
Yeah.
Something like that. Where are we? Oh, there we go. So section 6 is all about those models with Michael Porter.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give you the best one after that.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that you were talking about. The one model to rule them all.
Yeah. But you know, well, for me, the Canvas business model is one of my principal tools when I am trying to understand what's the main purpose of a company. It has 7 boxes, and you have to describe the business model through these 4 boxes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Like a tool.
It's a tool, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, as I say, if you use the human resources or you use the financial resources of the technical resources, and you get into that box and you support at least one of these boxes, you're gonna make a big difference. But everything related with the Canvas business model is about create value.
Oh, so the one that you say, what was it? I forgot the name, but I saw another one too with 4 boxes, and I think it was like.
Before that, no.
What, I don't know. I forgot the name, but it was like. But I remember how to use it. It was you put here the goal, right? You put the goal over here, what we need. It was like where you want to get to, right? Mm-hmm. The goal, the objective, and then on this side you put like what we're doing now or what we need to do, something like
vision,
that.
Vision, no? Vision.
I think so, yeah.
And philosophy. It's the way we learn administration.
But that sounds more like a company one. But it sounds exactly like the tool I learned at this conference. This guy was a sales guy, but he was, I think it was to close the sale. I can't remember. I'm like getting the memory right now when you explain the 4 boxes. I'm like thinking about it, but I can't remember right now. But I think it was to close the sale.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like very familiar. And over here it sounds like to establish the values of the company, right? And the mission and all that.
Well, in the center of the
it must be like a system thing that they use for those 4 boxes tools.
Well,
that you can make one too.
Yeah. But
it's like a steps kind of thing.
No. It's not one before the other. In the center is your proposal value.
Yeah, but it's like everything's connected. The way they kind of design the little
No one beside
structure drawing, I guess.
Not
chart.
It's a chart.
They're
it's
charts.
Not one before the other. You can get more. You can have more.
Yeah, there's different systems. Yeah.
Everything is related with what are you offering to people that is not material. For example.
Yeah.
You have to sell to people, but it's something that is not related with money, with things. You are selling.
Yeah, that reminds me of this new what was it? Here's the canvas that you said, but before that it was where are we? It's something of the future, and it reminded me of that. Because that's like a new thing, right? Like all the companies started coming up with their culture and their values and their mission.
Yeah, it was
to create like a different environment, and that's exactly what they're doing. What you said, they're giving like things that are not money, but people feel.
Yeah.
And they started at Subway, they don't call them employees, they call them sandwich artists. and those are like techniques. See, like they're giving you a title.
Yeah.
See, it's like you're giving people.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're giving people hope.
Yeah.
And hope is not like you can't grab it, but
Yeah,
if you
but
give me
you
hope, it's like
are buying status, for example. Status
Yeah.
is a big word to sell.
That's a good.
You know.
Yeah, you can't see it either.
You're giving.
It's not physical.
It's not physical.
Yeah.
Envy, for example, it's a big word.
Jealousy or something.
Jealousy.
That's interesting, right?
Those are the words that are related with the business model. What are you offering to people?
That is not kind of like.
That is not material.
Yeah, that's kind of
because everyone can sell the same. You can sell a mattress, a table, but you need to sell the value of is what you are offering that is not in the things you or the services you give.
Yeah, exactly. And then after they give you a bunch of information in the fourth part of the book, they start giving you more like a practice, so you can kind of like try it, or more like instructions on the things that we were talking about. And they get into the whole like how to do it and getting your hands dirty with these techniques, I guess you can call them, or approaches, like you said. So it's kind of like half information, half practice. And then here's the things that you were talking about. Oh, the philosophy.
Vision, narrative.
There's the 4 zones.
Yeah, but it's the way we learn in the 90s.
It was like new. Yeah. I think it was like, I remember hearing a lot that Disney invented it or something.
I think so.
Like
and
they used to talk a lot about Disney doing that. Like it was a big company. I mean, it is. Now it's even bigger, but back then they were very transformational.
Yeah, about those concepts, we have another point of view or another perspective of administration, but it's mostly the same, you know.
So did you see these things in books like in school or after? In school, like
in the college and the master.
Because you went to a lot of school, so school and then more school. Yeah. So this book is that's the same thing I was thinking, like your career and your university and all the information that you have. It's in this book and it's in English, and it's very, I guess you can say, I don't want to say technical.
Well, but it's your religion.
Because the word, it's very formal. It's like very formal. I wonder what's another word for technical.
You don't like the formality.
I love it. That's the ones I want. Technicalities. Yeah. But that's the one that you need to improve when you in your English. No, I guess it's more advanced to speak in technicalities. The way I think about it, because they actually say it like that. They say when you're talking to a doctor or a scientist or an engineer or somebody really smart, and they explain something, they say, "Can you explain it to me like a normal person, or can you give it to me in English words because they don't understand?" Or there's another one. They say, "Can you dumb it down, like?" Make it more simple.
But
dumb it down. Yeah, that's like the classic. So smarter people talk more in technicalities and also they call them big words.
Yeah.
They just say, "Oh, it's a big word," because words that people don't use.
Well.
Because the regular people only use like 1,000 words. So.
Yeah.
So when we check out information in a book, books have like words that you have to go to the dictionary sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can't even, sometimes I can't even read a paragraph and I can find an interesting word that it's a big one. Like, well, people just call them big words. It could be a small one, but you don't know what it means, so that's a big word for you. But they're usually big because they have a lot of syllables.
Yeah.
Usually.
Well,
So that's what I like about books. That they have like everything in
the
formal words.
Yeah.
It's very formal. So, what do you think about this book?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's like
Practical.
practical. Well,
See, non-theoretical. Theoretical.
Well, we had a minister of economy, Arturo Herrera. It was in the with the PG. It was the second. No, it was the secretario de Hacienda. It was the of the economy. It was the biggest one in the economy in the country.
Right.
Running the taxes of the entire country. You know?
Okay. Damn,
And how to do with all the taxes? So they proposed the Mexican budget for all the incomes that we have. And
Right.
Yeah, everything.
Right.
And this guy was really smart. But he is as smart as practical to express himself. And in all the interviews, he was like, "Hey, you are very clear when you explain things," because he was as smart that can explain everything in simple words. You know, so everyone can understand it. This is not easy to understand, but let me put it this way. It's like, for example, when
so
you
that's
have
what I think
times,
you can do that.
Yeah.
I think we can get your, well, practicing and reading, we can get you to explain stuff at work with like this guy.
Yeah.
Very simple, but in a very smart way. And obviously with, to reach that level, obviously you need like a lot of practice and you gotta have a lot of like words up here to make it, and you gotta be like aware, like, oh, they're not understanding me. Let me explain it in a different
way.
Look at the situation. I explained to this group differently, I guess, and things like that.
We used to say.
You know who's really good at that?
Con peras y manzanas.
You know who's really good at that?
Yeah.
Trump.
You know? Oh yeah.
Trump. Yeah. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's like, sometimes he's like too good at it that people make fun of him for it, but when you see him doing it, like in life,
it's something that is really smart.
He thinks like really fast.
Because they can be talking with the smartest people in the world at their level. Yeah. But they can be talking with you and I in our level. Yeah. And we can understand perfectly because they know how to express themselves with the people they are talking to.
Technical.
Exactly, different groups. So that's my goal. That's what I'm thinking with this other book. So we can have more material.
Yeah.
And we can use this book as well as the management one, the human resource management one.
Sounds interesting.
Did it remind you of the topics that you saw like in school?
No. But
or in your experience?
You know, when I was in the